time, we'll call the meeting to order, the Haywood County Board of Education meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Jimmy Rogers, who is called in remotely to do our invocation for us. Immediately followed, we'll do our Pledge of Allegiance. Jimmy, will you do our board prayer, please? Board members, please rise for our prayer.
Let us pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us. Lord, we'd like to thank you for the opportunity you've given us to be as board members, Lord, that we can make decisions to help better the education opportunities for the children of Haywood County. Lord, we first of all want to thank you for the successful year that we've had and that we've been able to get children into a classroom. And Lord, we pray that we can continue to come back to some normalcy of educating children. And we want to thank you especially, Lord, for all the staff of this Haywood County Schools, everyone involved, the teachers, the custodians, the cafeteria workers, bus drivers, maintenance, transportation, everyone, Lord, that you have, and all the teachers and principals and administrators that, Lord, they have done such a wonderful job. And I want to give you thanks for all the things that you have given them and given them the strength to endure their work and the strength to help teach children. And Lord, we pray that we continue to do well. We continue that these children do great. Thank you for the parents. Thank you for the Haywood County citizens. And thank you, Lord, for this country. Bless us, Lord, and guide and direct this board as we make the decisions to better enable to support our children and give them the best education possible. All these things, Lord, we ask in thy precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone may be seated. On our announcements, our next regular board meeting, that's not July 12th, is that correct? Is it? That is correct. Okay. I wanted to make sure. We've had to change some things around due to some conflicts. But anyway, our next regular board meeting will be July 12th here at the Education Center at 7 o'clock here in Clyde. Are there any other announcements that need to be made? Okay. Under agenda adjustments, I've been informed by our chair of our building and grounds that you have some items. Is that correct, Dr. Rogers?
Yes, we have 4 items.
4 items to add. We'll add them right prior to the Finance Committee. Yes, sir. Without objection. Okay. Be number 7, 18A we'll call it. And then 18B will be Mr. Clark. Any other adjustments that need to be made?
Mr. Chair, I need to add 4 items for the Finance Committee.
We'll just do them in your normal spot then, Mr. Clark. All right. Any other adjustments?
School-based mental health plan.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's right here. We need to add Mr. Putnam, a mental health training program that needs to be approved. We'll do it right after the approval of the minutes, if that will work. 12B, we'll call it. Any other adjustments? Thanks for bringing that again forward to me. A lot going on. All right. At this time then, there being no other adjustments, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Henson has made the motion, second by Mr. Nesbitt. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, first on our agenda is Ms. Shipman and Ms. Fox.
Okay, Chairman Francis, members of the board, this evening I would like to recognize some fabulous elementary students and a fabulous elementary school teacher too, who participated in our regional Smart Tank competition. So as you guys probably remember from last year, Smart Tank is like Shark Tank in that these students get to practice some entrepreneurship. And they get to come up with an idea for a product. They get to do some research about that, and they get to actually create that product and market their idea. And these students came up with some fabulous ideas. And so Smart Tank was a little bit different this year with COVID-19. It was virtual. So they had to actually record their presentations and then submit that to the judges. But we have some fabulous students who were awarded some fabulous $100 and $150 prizes. And we have a fabulous teacher, and it's Martha Child. This is her 4th year in participating in Smart Tank with our 3rd graders in Haywood County. So I want to recognize Martha Child, and then she is going to recognize the students.
We have 5 of our 11 students able to be here tonight, which is wonderful. So I have Samuel Tate, and he's representing Hazelwood Elementary School's team. I have Scarlett Jenkins, who is representing Jonathan Valley's team. I have Levi Brown, who is representing Junaluska's team. Summer Burnett and Henry Smith representing Bethel's 3rd grade team.
Congratulations. I'm sure we'll get to see some of that on social media tonight. Congratulations to all.
Chairman Francis and members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, and Ms. Barker, it's my pleasure to recognize some teams that participated from our high schools. We have one team from Pisgah and an individual from Tuscola. The first group that we'll recognize is from Pisgah. This is Miss Lisa Cook's class, and I have Lisa Cook with us. Miss Cook's class created a project where they created new items to sell in their store, the Bare Necessities store. It included candles and soaps and bath salts and lip balms, and each one of them had a job that they participated in. And so it's my great privilege to recognize Aniston Burnett, Timothy Cole, Slade Coyne, Grayson Holland, Lou Stamey, Andrew Worley.
Yeah, we got a good picture.
And here's your. Let's give them another hand if you will.
Yeah, let's get a picture.
Lisa, they want to get a picture with just your group.
She can come.
And parent, you can come take a picture if you want to, absolutely.
Try to kiss everybody as
They're
I
great.
like kisses, that's all.
Thank you. Good job, guys. And then our participant from Tuscola was a young man named Daniel Moody. He was sponsored by Jim Davis, and we have both of them with us tonight. And Daniel, very entrepreneurial, he created a spray to spray in face masks, so that it was a single spray or drop to refresh your face mask. So, great project. So it's my pleasure to introduce Daniel Moody and Jim Davis. And I think Daniel might have something he wants to say.
I would like to thank the school board for recognizing me and Mr. Davis. This is a great project, and the opportunities provided to me by the county and the school really helped me excel with my project, and I'm very proud of my accomplishment. And thank you again for recognizing me and him.
Come up closer and get one.
No, you need to balk us. Please balk us. It's one of those deals where you wish it had been you that thought of it. Why didn't I think of that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. Next is Ms. Jenny Wood. Oh, I'm sorry. Getting crazy here.
Yeah, Jenny.
Yeah. Sarah Putnam, sorry.
I know what you're thinking. I look much better than Jenny, right?
No, not really.
No, not really.
All right.
No, not really.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have several athletic recognitions tonight. We're going to begin. I would say make yourself comfortable in your seat. In doing so, just ahead of recognizing the numerous schools and athletes, I want to recognize our athletic directors and our principals and assistant principals who not only made a safe way forward, but did so in a very competitive and championship fashion. And you're going to get an opportunity to see some of those champions. First up is Waynesville Middle School 2021 baseball team. They were Blue Ridge Conference champions, and I'm going to invite, who's coming to speak? Jody Ward, their coach, to come up and speak about the Waynesville Middle School Blue Ridge Conference champions.
Thank you. I'm gonna be real quick. Very proud of these boys. Went 9-1 on the season. West Division champs, Blue Ridge Conference champs. It's been since 2006 since Waynesville Middle School has won a baseball championship. So 15 years. And these boys, they come to practice, they put in the work, and it's paid off for them. So I'm very, very proud of them. They've represented the school and the community very well. So at this time, I'd like to introduce them. A couple of them's not here. So we'll start with Amos Rich. He's not here. Colt Nelson.
If you'll just line up right.
Okay. Evan Connor. Mason Rathbone. Carson Allison. Abe Gauzy, he's not here. Mason Harrell. Eli Freeman. Elijah Hampton. Boyd Kirkpatrick. Jack Duckett. Braden Surratt. Bryson Matthews not here. Ian Omsler. And then Isaiah Hyatt and August Falma.
Parents, if you want to get closer to take a picture, you're welcome.
Jody, get them right up there.
Yes.
Hey, you better get you a picture, Dad.
Parents, feel free to come on up and take pictures of your children.
Stand like you straighten up, Boyd, or I'll tell you daddy. Hey, you can tell, he's on. He's enjoying having her.
Hey, I've got a hat in the car. I've got a hat in the car.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Hey, just be proud of that boy.
All right, next we have Canton Middle School. Canton Middle School will be recognizing their 2021 Wrestling Blue Ridge Conference champions, heavyweight division. And also, we've got one recognition for an individual in girls track in the 400-meter conference champion.
Good evening, Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Putnam, Dr. Nolte, Ms. Barker. On behalf of Canton Middle School, I would like to introduce our assistant coach for wrestling. He is going to speak on behalf of Eli Frizzell this evening, and then I'm going to recognize our other athlete.
I'm just assistant coach. I'm his dad as well. So it's yeah. He had a great year. He finished seventh grade year. He finished 12-2, and we had a little unfinished business. And our goal all year was to win the last one. He finished 11-1 this year.
Good job.
Most people wait their whole life to meet their favorite wrestler. I got to coach mine this year.
There you go. Congratulations.
Let her up to get a picture.
I almost had Bobby in a Disney hat a couple of weeks ago.
He would have had to lose a bet, wouldn't he?
Yeah, hey, I've got a picture for you.
I move to strike that comment from the record, please.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to recognize Bailey Connor, Blue Ridge Athletic Conference 400-meter champion, as Dr. Putnam said, an amazing accomplishment for a seventh grader. Can't wait to see what this young lady is able to do at Canton Middle next year as an eighth grader.
Wow.
Congratulations, Bailey.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I know her mom, dad, I've seen her grow up.
Near you.
No, I just know.
Next, we have Bethel Middle School. Bethel Middle School will be recognizing wrestling as conference dual team champions.
That's good, though. I'm glad we got him back.
Oh, yeah, and I think he's glad to be out there.
I looked out the door, everybody looked like they was having a good time. That's the best part of it.
Every day I have to go and do something else. And I do that crowd. Usually I don't have to do that.
This year was a good year for us as far as a team goes and individually. We had a good group of kids that have been wrestling a good long time. So we kind of knew this year going into it that we were going to have a good season, but, you know, not knowing with the little school how many weight classes you're going to fill and everything like that, it's generally a little tough for us as far as filling teams. But, you know, most teams you tell them you're going to be down 18 to 24 points going into the match, going into a game. It's kind of tough to overcome that. So these guys kind of knew basically they had to win matches individually for us to do anything as a team, and they kind of took that on their shoulders. And every time, you know, that they would come out and say, hey, you need a pin, they would come up and get a pin. I mean, this group of kids, a lot of them have been wrestling since they were 5, 6 years old. So they knew the expectation whenever they're out there. Our leaders, our 8th graders, they stepped up and did big things. We basically had 2 weeks to get ready for our season, just like anybody else. But 2 weeks isn't a long time to teach kids how to wrestle, especially kids that have never walked on a wrestling mat before. So we're very proud of that. Our 8th graders really stepped up, and our 7th graders who are experienced and done a lot of teaching, not just wrestling. So they taught these kids who had never stepped on a mat before, you know, what to expect, what to do, and helped us bring them along really fast. But they finished up the season with a record of 11 wins, 1 loss. We lost our first match of the year and then turned around and won 11 in a row. We beat 2 good teams in the championships with Apple Valley and Flat Rock. And those teams, you know, they're tough to beat. They have 900, 1,000 kids in their school. We have 280. So obviously their teams are a lot bigger and they got a lot to choose from. But this group right here, they've got a lot of heart, and you know, they stepped up when they needed to and got the job done. We're really, really proud of them. I'll name them all off individually, and they'll come up here and get their certificates here. First off, we have Levi Curtis. Next, we have Ramsey Silver. Next, we have Mason Sims. Next, we have Caleb Glantz. Next, we have Walker Henline. And he's not here, but next we've got Turner Robb. And next we have Kane Bryson.
He may know that one.
Yeah, just a little. Next. Next we have Cale Burnett. Also not here, but next we have Matthew Mahaffey. Also not here, not able to make today is Tyson Silver. Next up we have Isaiah Warren. Next we have, he's not here either today, he's on vacation, but we got Silas Brown. Now next we have Eb Frizzell. Out here also today, we've got Carter Browning. Next, we have Preston Wright. Next, we've got Zach Ledford. And also we have Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson right here.
Okay, good stuff.
Get them lined up there. Coach, you want to step up there and get a picture? Guys, sort of double stack on that little stage there. And parents, come on up closer and get you a picture. Come on up closer and get you a picture. There you go.
Actually, I think they got all them.
Oh, yeah, take a knee. That's
They're
beautiful.
down on the knees, that's works.
Kane, hold your certificate up a little bit higher.
Hold that pose. We're gonna do everything. And the small. Everybody get a picture at one end? All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Also, and I think this is my fault, I don't know that we sent this in, but we had, this year at the conference tournament, we had 7 of our guys make the conference finals. Out of those 7, it had 3 individual conference champions. 2 of them weren't able to make it today, but we had all 3 8th graders. All 3 have been wrestling with me since they were about 5 or 6 years old. So, you know, they put in the work to get where they're at, and I'm super proud of them. First off, we had Turner Robb at 100 pounds. He won the conference championship at 100 pounds this year. After that, we had Tyson Silver, who's also not able to be here today. He's an 8th grader. He won the conference championship at 122 pounds. And Tyson, this is his 2nd time in the finals. And this year he was able to win the championship. And he's actually surpassed where he's 2nd on the all-time wins list at Bethel now. And then 3rd, we had Kane Bryson. He won the conference championship at 108 pounds. This is his 3rd time in the finals, his 2nd conference championship. And he now holds the record for most wins with 47 wins and 1 loss at Bethel.
Folder and everything.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. If you want to walk out that way, it'll be easier than trying to wiggle back through the maze here.
Congratulations, guys. Good job. Good job, Coach.
I told you to get comfortable, didn't I? Next, we have Tuscola High School. They have several individual recognitions in several sports, and I'm looking for who's going to present. Athletic Director and Coach, Coach Ballou.
Board, good evening. We have several recognitions tonight. First off, we're going to start with football. I'm going to let Coach Brookshire come up and introduce his players.
A little old, gotta have his glasses on.
Nothing wrong with that.
Board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, and Ms. Barker, thank you guys for allowing us to be here to recognize our players. Guys, anytime you get to celebrate the accomplishments of your team, it's a big deal, and it don't matter what environment you're in, it's always a big deal. You know, this year's been very trying for a lot of families, you know, a lot of teachers, a lot of our community members. For us to be able to get this thing off the way it happened was a blessing. But we appreciate everything that you guys did to help us get this thing going. Our players, all of them that are here tonight, actually every one of them is in our program. They demonstrated the values, the character, and the ability and the vision of our school and our football program. We are super excited about the future of our program. JV team was extremely loaded. They were big. We had a great year on our JV team. Our varsity players, especially our seniors, helped sort of change the culture where we're headed. It was obvious. At the end of the year, we got on a good roll, took Reynolds to the brink of defeat after 45 consecutive wins by Reynolds. We're beating them with a minute to go in the game and lost. And, it is what it is. But our players, I'm so proud of where they're at, so proud of the future that a lot of these seniors have going for them. Starting off, I've got a couple of guys that are out of town. First is Josh Green. He's an offensive lineman. He led the team. He's the highest graded O-lineman we had. He led the team in pancakes. He's also a Mars Hill recruit. Will be playing football at Mars Hill University. He is not with us. Next is Garrett Fox. He also is not here tonight. He's out of town. Garrett was the leading rusher in our conference as a running back. There was another kid that had more rushing yards as quarterback. There was also another player that had more total yards, but they didn't have him in conference play like he did. If you guys got to watch us play, Garrett was probably 125 pounds soaking wet, tough. His body was beat up after every game. We're really going to miss him, Garrett Fox. Next is Darion Lunsford. Darion was a transfer for here from Buncombe County. He was an all-state player this year as a defensive back. He was a 3A all-state player. It was a big deal for him. We're excited about this upcoming year for him. He led the state in interceptions. Obviously led our team in interceptions, runs track, and next year we'll be also playing basketball. Next is Jayden Mintz. Jayden played multiple spots for us on the D-line, and by the end of the year, he was playing a little H-back for us. He also is an outstanding wrestler. He missed one game this year due to illness, but he was lights out, probably hands down the best D-lineman in our league. Still wrestling, by the way. Next, Nick Baker. He is not here tonight. He is also still wrestling. Nick plays outside linebacker for us. He's about 5'7", 140 pounds. He's a twin, so I can't tell which one is usually in the game. By the end of the year, we were playing both of them, so it was easy to tell, just try to find the number. But he was always around the ball, Nick Baker. Next is Connor Medina. Connor started inside linebacker for us. I know when you see guys sit here and look at the size, you're probably going, most inside linebackers are a little bit bigger than that. He's going to Mars Hill University to play football also. He's got a whole lot of upside about him. He's a very good student. He led our team in tackles, and don't let that size fool you because he will stroke you. Yes. Next is Greg Harrison. Greg was the other tandem. Combined, these two kids led the conference in tackles combined inside linebackers. They did a fantastic job. Greg called our defense, got everybody lined up. As you can tell, we are going to miss these two guys right here tremendously. Anytime you have senior leaders on your football team that are not only good students, good people, you hate to see them go. Well, that's part of our business. But we've got some kids, hopefully, that they've trained up to get them replaced. And the future at Tuscola, guys, looks good. And we appreciate you guys allowing us to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
No, sure, huh? Good.
Okay, next, Coach Johnson's going to come up and talk about tennis.
All right, good evening. I just say I'm a little excited to be here. It's not often Tuscola gets to come and celebrate our tennis program. Definitely against that Buncombe County. They love tennis over there. And Alex Gorgiev, he's a senior this year, and he will be graduating. And he was up at one point 14th in the state for 3A tennis. So he really stuck it to him, made it to regionals, all conference. So just I'm glad that we can be invited. I can brag on him in front of you all. And he's going to Chapel Hill next year for computer science, but he will keep playing tennis. He is good enough to really stick into him anywhere in the state. So thank you all. Alex Gorgiev.
All right. Congratulations.
Okay, next we have softball, and Coach Mahaffey has a few that she wants to talk about.
Good evening. This was my first year coaching for Tuscola softball. It's an honor to be able to come back and coach for the team that I played for 4 years and graduated from in '02. We were expected to finish dead last, and we finished in a three-way tie for third place. So with that being said, it was us and Inca and West Henderson. So we got the wild card seed, we got to go to playoffs, and we lost by 1 run to the 10-time state champion, Alexander Central. So I'm extremely proud of that. And we only have 3 seniors. One of those will actually be going on to play college ball. And I'm just incredibly proud of this team and what we did. And it's nothing I did, it's everything that they did. So thank you for entrusting me to be able to lead this ball club. I'm excited to be able to go into this new conference and play against my cousin Heidi from Pisgah, so that should be fun. But it's just been an honor to be able to come back and coach. I also would like to thank you for the drains that you put in our field. It's been an ongoing thing where we were not able to do that, so grounds committee, thank you for that. It made all the difference in the world, so thank you so much. It meant the world to me. So, the first person I'd like to recognize is JC Cook. She is our senior, and she was our defensive player of the year. She will be going to play softball on a full scholarship to Pfeiffer University. She, since her freshman year, led the MAC conference with only 2 errors since her freshman year. She also led the MAC conference in home runs, who also tied with our for 4 years. And then our next player is Delaney Buchanan. She was our offensive player of the year. She is a junior, and she led the stats for the team. And she also led for the juniors for the MAC conference. And she led the team with 5 home runs and a batting average over 500. So, our next player is Ava Kirkpatrick. She is an all-around stout player. She is one of the reasons that kept us in the game for our game for Alexander Central. She hit a bomb over left center field. So she's amazing. She's a great ball player. And our pitcher that kept us in all season is Faith Caldwell. She was out for the first 2 weeks of play and came back with a vengeance. Sophomore player, and she can play anywhere on the field. So I also had 2 honorable mention players, and so thank you so much for honoring my team. I appreciate you guys.
stay put, Mom and Dad. What you wanna do? Congratulations.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have Coach Valentine's going to come up and talk about golf.
Good evening, guys. Hey, how are you? I had the opportunity to do both women's and men's golf this year, so I think I might be a little out of order. I'm actually going to do the men's first. As a team, we came second in conference, which is awesome. We got automatic qualified for the regional match. I think once we got there, we showed our youth and inexperience a little bit, but we are really excited about that team. We're bringing back everyone, and then we have a great group of rising freshmen that we're really excited about. Leading that team was a freshman this year who is actually not here, so we're gonna maybe look at the screen. I don't know where he's at. He said he was looking online. Jacob Edwards is a gentleman to hopefully you can be on the lookout for and read his name in the paper. He's someone to watch. A great year this year, all conference. So Jacob Edwards, congratulations. For the women's side, we had two that were automatically qualified to regionals, 2 of our 3. And actually the third young lady would, in a normal year, would have qualified for regionals, which is awesome. We were really disappointed that she couldn't get in this year due to the COVID special rules. And I guess another reason why that we're really excited about the Tuscola golf program is that we were led by another underclassman who was right behind me. She was a sophomore this year. She's a rising junior. Her name is Darla Forrester, all conference and also all regional. And I just gotta say something for Hannah, then we'll take a picture. And then the last girl, I think, is doing her senior vacation. She just graduated, so I hope she's also watching online. Her name is Hannah Brooks, also all conference. Is this something you want to keep?
You can keep those.
Okay.
Folder is yours.
Well, that's it for Tuscola tonight. So thank you to the board, Dr. Nolte, Ms. Barker, Dr. Putnam. Thank you for a great year. It's been a special year. Everybody keeps saying that, but it really has. We appreciate everything that you guys have done and for having us out. Thank you.
Thanks, Lord.
And last but certainly not least, we have Pisgah High School for some recognitions in football and a variety of sports.
Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, and Ms. Barker, thank you for having us here tonight. We're extremely excited, and for Coach Brown, I'm really excited to play them this year. I heard that she was, or Miss Mahaffey, sorry. I heard what she said out there. No, it's a fun rivalry, and she's my third cousin, so it makes it even better. So, before we recognize our athletes, I would like to say thank you to all of you for all of your hard work and support this school year. It has been one for the books, and that has tested us all. But in the end, we have come out stronger, and it's because of all of you sitting in this room, so thank you very much. And at this time, we'd like to recognize JV football, but first I would like to recognize Coach Chappell, who was the co-coach of the year for the Mountain Six.
I know Coach Morgan went through all of the formalities and all of the thanks, but again, I would like to echo that. With everything that has gone on, I think it's only a tribute to what has been, I hope as we look back on it, a successful school year, a successful athletic year for our student athletes as well, from what we have started with and not knowing that we were going to have anything to actually getting to get through it. And I'm going to be selfish and tell you I wished I'd have had more games with the group that I had. Certainly a good group of young men, not only just the varsity but the JVs as well. But I'm glad we got some sort of season in. I know a lot of you all that are in here had a hand in that, so I say thank you to you guys and ladies as well for those that helped in getting that moving forward. I think from the first game until the last game, it seems like it was changing weekly, and we were always trying to get over some obstacle or hurdle, but we have done so in fine fashion. So again, I want to say thank you to all of you. Want to recognize, and I've got one of our JV players with us, Mr. Dakota Sorrells. Dakota, come on out, bud. Dakota was a captain for us on our JV team. We only had 6 games with our JV team. They went 5-1. They won the conference for the 4th year in a row. So we're certainly excited about our future, excited about what Dakota and his teammates did for us. They came a long way from when we started. He was a great leader for us. We call our sophomore seniors of the JVs. We ended up starting 8 freshmen on this team. And so these guys that were our sophomores did a phenomenal job for us as leaders, and we got better as the season went along and won another conference championship. That is the standard that we have set, and excited to be able to keep that up. Mr. Dakota Sorrells. Just go straight through them. I'm going to let you end up here. I'm going to shoot you up here with the varsity kid. I'm going to put him on the spot. That'll be good. He didn't play like that, I can tell you that.
He's coachable.
He's coachable.
That's right.
He is coachable. I like that. For our varsity team, special season for these guys, especially our seniors who have come so far, and we always try to pay tribute to them because of the hard work that they've done, not only for this one season, but for the 4 consecutive ones. I'm going to recognize our junior that's with us tonight first, and then I'll recognize the 3 seniors that are with us. The junior who is with us, Mr. Bailey Stockton. Bailey was the co-defensive player of the year in the conference. He led our team in tackles, did a phenomenal job. He was a 2-way starter, a starter on the basketball team as well, and I am really excited to know that we have him coming back to our team for another year. Certainly he has been a great leader for us, not only on the field but off the field. He is a great student in the classroom and leads by example, and that's something that you always look for in your leaders. I was certainly excited about having him. I'm going to let you walk up here with Dakota. The 3 seniors, and I'm going to bring them up before I talk about the things that they've accomplished as a group. The first one that I'm going to bring up is Mr. Hunter Hodge. Hunter was a young man that has come leaps and bounds from day one for us. We don't do special recognitions as far as team goes and those things, but he was definitely the most improved player from his junior year to his senior year. He was someone that we could really count on up front. He was one of the bulldozers up front for our offense. We had a lot of success because of him and his teammates, and certainly glad that he had the year that he had and was able to make the memories that he did. And the last one for us, come on up, Caleb Bradford. Caleb was the lineman of the year in our conference. He was a two-way starter, offense and defense. He's been with us, it seems like forever. He's one of those that the opposing team says he must be a fifth-year senior. He's been there so long. But has just been phenomenal. His work ethic in the weight room, the things that he has accomplished, the things that he did in the fall, preparing himself, getting himself ready for his senior year. He's not only a football player, he's a rodeo specialist too. He likes to do shoot dogging. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's grabbing that bull by the horns and getting him down. I don't know if I could do that, but I'm certainly glad that he picked that hobby up because it showed on the football field. So certainly proud of him and the things that he's accomplished as well. So I mentioned I wanted to recognize these seniors as well as this varsity team. They were 6-2 as a varsity team, won a conference championship 4 out of the last 5 years. These seniors that are going out, they will go out with a combined record of 34-6. They were conference champions all 4 years. So they will never go out thinking that they weren't the best because they were. I think they are one of, if I'm not mistaken, the only team that I know of that has come through and won conference championships all 4 years. Our juniors have won 3, so they're right on the doorstep. So we're certainly hopeful that they're able to achieve that next year as well. But really proud of these young men and what they've accomplished, the leadership that they have shown not only on our team but out in the community as well. They have certainly been role models for our young kids. Proud of these young men that came here tonight and are with us. The other guys that are not, other things going on. We had baseball games tonight, track and wrestling, and we had some seniors who are enjoying a little break from graduation. So, but again, thank you all for having us. But these young men right here did an outstanding job, and I'm certainly proud of them.
Any parents that would like to come up and take a picture?
Where's the beef at? That's what they want.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Nobody want to tell them what to do, and they didn't.
At this time, I would like to recognize our women's soccer team. Coach Pinkston couldn't be here tonight because he is working a camp at Maryville College. Ladies, if you'd like to come up. Normally, I don't get a chance to watch these ladies play soccer because I'm always in season, but this year I got to watch them a little bit. They finished the season with a 9-2 record. They made it to the first round of the playoffs and battled hard. And for the Mountain 6 All-Conference and 2A All-Region team is Miss Kennedy Barker. Alyssa Bridges. Jackie Pena. Maddie Hendry. Sorry. Maddie was the Mountain 6 Defensive Player of the Year. and Jimena Andrade.
Well, you go ahead.
That's
You're
all
ready
right.
to go with it.
Okay.
You're a soccer coach.
Photoshop Joe in.
And now I would like to recognize the varsity softball team and all conference selections. We had a great year. We finished our year 8-3. At the end of our season, we were ranked 12th in the 2A, and the highlight of our season was beating Franklin 8-6 in a 7th inning comeback. We were down 6-0, and we haven't beaten them in 4 years. So that was quite a night for us. But I'm extremely proud of these ladies. A few words that describe them is hardworking, dedicated, coachable, passionate, and determined. So we have Whitney Boone.
Oh, yeah.
It's Varsity.
Bring your own.
I did. Next, we have Mckenna Browning, who was all-conference honorable mention. Hudson Carver. Charlie Hall. Maggie McCracken. And Colby Warren. I would like to share a few stats about these ladies if I could. Sorry to take up so much of your time. But Whitney was our starting shortstop as a freshman. She ended the year with a .907 fielding percentage. She had 9 RBIs, 16 hits, and she struck out 0 times this year. Good job.
Wow.
Mckenna Browning, the rest of these ladies are seniors, so her career batting average was .274, and her career fielding percentage was .889. Hudson Carver was our first baseman, and her career batting average was .311 with a fielding percentage of .979. Charlie pitched for us this year. She threw 126 innings in her career. She struck out 96 girls and only walked 23. Maggie had a career batting average of .303, and in the last 2 seasons only had 2 pass balls at the plate as our catcher. And Colby, we call her Smooth. She was our starting center fielder. She ended her career with a .448 batting average and a 1,000 fielding percentage. She had 0 errors in 2 seasons.
All right, parents, if you'd like to come up and get a picture.
No errors. 400 batting average. Good grief.
Congratulations.
You can smack him.
And last, I would like to recognize our JV softball team, who are our co-conference champions this year. They only had 6 games as well, but they finished the season 5-1. And they were a great team, led by great leadership, Coach Woods and Coach Kirkendall, who I don't think want to come up here and talk today. But so we'll recognize these ladies. Addison Sarles. Kenzie Mathis couldn't be here today. Sailor Troll. Avon Thompson. Sierra Early. Alyssa Smith. Gracie Burgess. Savannah Lawrence. Elizabeth Smith. Annan Sarles. And Samantha Morgan and Emma Hyman couldn't be here today as well. Good job, ladies. Next, we have Christy Sarles with our men's golf team.
Thank you. Good afternoon. First off, golf is one of those few sports that we actually don't play on Pisgah's or any school campus. So we are at the mercy of these golf courses, and I want y'all to know the appreciation that we have. Every one of our golf courses in Haywood County genuinely invites us in. They allow us to use their facilities free of charge. So anytime you were around them, would y'all please take that time when you go golfing and just let them know how thankful you are, because we have a golf program because they allow us to be on their facilities. So first, I did want to mention that and our appreciation. So I'm going to start with my seniors. I have two seniors. My first one is Alex Boone. Alex he was our all-conference champion this year and has been the all-conference champion for the last 3 years. We can't count last year because, of course, with COVID, we didn't have a season. But all 3 years of his high school, he has been the all-conference player of the year with our conference. He does plan to continue this golfing. It doesn't stop. That's the wonderful thing with golf, is golf doesn't stop at high school. He is continuing that at Emory Henry College, where he did get a golf scholarship. So he will continue with that. My next senior is Mr. Tanner Devlin. Tanner was the runner-up this year, so you're looking at the number 1 and the number 2 golfer for the Mountain 6 Conference. Across all 6 teams, we had number 1 and number 2. Phenomenal golfers, both of these guys. Tanner has also been in all-conference all 3 years of the conference. So, and again, he is continuing his golfing, going to UVA Wise, where again, he's got a golf scholarship. So these seniors, we're feeding them on into the college, and I think that's a wonderful program. So and they both we were lucky with our team this year. We had 5 all-conference players, which is phenomenal. Both of these, of course, were our all-conference players. Again, adding to that was our junior, Evan Loftus, was one of our all-conference players. Next is our sophomore, Eric Loftus. And we had Braden West as our junior. These 5 guys was our all-conference, the entire team that went. Alex and Tanner both have been a solid anchor. We hate to see them go. We are so tremendously wish them the best in their future as they continue. Rounding out our wonderful all-conference champion team this year, we were the champions. As a team, not only did we have the top 2 individuals, as a team, we were the champion for the conference. Rounding out our team was Colton Clark, who was not able to be here with us. Junior Macon Hyder. And our freshman Jackson DeMark. I don't, no, Jackson. Should have one. Jackson? I'll get it for you.
We'll get one.
Maybe in one of the other folders. So just to give you an idea of this team, we averaged, on average, with all of our matches, 317 points. Now, if you know anything about boys golf, they take the bottom 4 scores when we make a team score. And our average was 317. That means these guys were shooting high 70s and below. I wouldn't get on the golf course with them. I promise you that. Because they could shoot rings around me. These guys were amazing. We are looking forward to continuing our streak as conference champions next year with our underclassmen as they come back. And we hope to be back here next year as, again, a conference champ.
See those pictures on Facebook when they're set, you see half our face. Congratulations, guys. Hey, congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Good job, Miss Shaw. That's our son will learn, you know.
That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations to all of our champions and from all of our schools, and we appreciate the fact that they've come to visit us even during the summer months. And I know a lot of folks are on vacation, but we do appreciate the attendance and the recognition.
I'll look in a minute.
Now, next would be Miss Jenny Wood.
Thank you. I am here tonight to recognize our Employees of the Year, and I just want to tell you that the way these employees get nominated is that any employee in the whole school system can nominate any employee from any department. And so then we have a little committee that gets together and reads the letters of recommendation and selects. So my comments tonight are going to come directly from the letters that were written about these employees. Our first recognition, and we have a certificate and a check for all of our Employees of the Year, is our after-school Employee of the Year, Maggie King from Riverbend Elementary. Maggie has learned all the ins and outs of running an after-school program. She's energetic, smart, and always willing to dive in and research the requirements of the program. It's not always easy to find an after-school director who will put forth the effort needed to run a good program, but Maggie has done that and then some. Maggie is an asset in this position, and we cannot thank her enough. Congratulations to the Haywood County Schools After-School Employee of the Year, Maggie King. Our bus driver employee of the year is Rita Guy from Pisgah High School. She must not be here. We are so thankful for the 40-plus years of service Rita has put in as a bus driver. She currently drives number 32 for Pisgah. She has been a mentor to many students and to new drivers. Rita goes above and beyond for her students, buying clothes, supplies, and even yearbooks. Rita has shown a tremendous amount of compassion towards her students and her coworkers. She also works full-time with the Canton Police Department, and we appreciate her dedication to her bus route at Pisgah. We literally wish we had 50 more Ritas. Our next is the Instructional Technology Employee of the Year, and this one's a little different. We are celebrating our ITC Employee of the Year a little differently this year and recognizing the entire department. So we have Keita Blankenship. They'll come up and stand, even from out in the back. Ian Early. Brian White. Julia Goebel. Teresa Cook. Susan Evans. Zach Duval. Myra Anderson. And Director Kim Jackson. Each member of the department has gone out of their way to equip our county for the pandemic. Not only did they make sure our students had what they needed, but also our employees and staff. Then, when the pandemic wasn't enough, they had a ransomware attack. The team rose to the occasion with grace and speed. In a normal year, the wait time for a response to a submitted ticket is little to none, and that has been no different this year. Kim and her entire team have gone the extra mile to make sure the needs of our students have been met. We are grateful for the expertise and calm natures in this department, and we sincerely thank you for your dedication to Haywood County Schools. Next is our Instructional Support Employee of the Year, and I don't think she could be here tonight, Sarah Connard. Sarah is the guidance counselor at Waynesville Middle School. Ms. Connard has a constant, optimistic, and cheerful attitude. She is kind, caring, nurturing, and sympathetic. Her door is always open, not only to students, but to the staff as well. She ensures that Waynesville Middle School students have the appropriate materials, clothes, personal care items, and provides access to food or anything else needed to maintain a quality education. She manages the 504 plans as well as CUME folders, arranges parent meetings, and makes home visit. I quote, "Sarah is a friend, a confidant, and an advocate for students, and a counselor who is passionate about helping others. She is a valuable influence at Waynesville Middle School." Our custodian of the year is Kenda Collins from Pisgah High School. Kenda is always cleaning or working on one thing or another at Pisgah. You will hear across the county that Kenda's buildings are among the cleanest around. She is willing to help wherever needed and makes it a point to keep on top of things at her school. She is always just a phone call away, and we are glad to have her working on the Pisgah campus. Our maintenance employee of the year is Mr. Bob Messer. There are probably very few employees of Haywood County Schools who don't know Bob. Bob always has a helpful smile on his face and seems to truly enjoy his job. He is ready to assist in any way that he can. His promptness and follow-through are on point. He will make sure he sees a job completed from the beginning to end. If he doesn't have an answer, he'll find someone who does and communicate the best solution for everyone. He is thorough and knowledgeable and is an asset to our school. I quote, "He is just an awesome guy." Our office support employee of the year, Karen Medford from Bethel Middle School. Karen is the first person to greet students and visitors at Bethel Middle. She's always kind and friendly and does her best not to interrupt instructional time. She has volunteered to pack and deliver meals, ride on buses as needed. There is nothing she isn't willing to do to help our students. Karen has a way of making everyone feel special and is genuinely pleased to help others. Bethel Middle School is a better place because of Karen. Our Teacher Assistant of the Year, Employee of the Year, is also from Pisgah, Beth Easton. And I don't think she could be here tonight. Beth is a TA in the EC department at Pisgah. She is described as the glue that holds the department together. Ms. Easton is organized, enthusiastic, and loves being around students. She has built many positive relationships with her students, as well as her colleagues. Students look forward to being in her class. She has been handpicked to mentor a struggling senior and ensures that the OCS classes run smoothly and that our students learn the needed strategies to overcome any deficits. Beth always has a smile to share. She is a team player and is genuinely concerned with the success of her students. Her coworker said, "I can't imagine being at Pisgah without her." Congratulations to Beth. Our School Food Service Employee of the Year, Barbara Fowler from Tuscola. Barbara is a pleasure to have at Tuscola. She is always willing to help, not only for Tuscola, but for our entire district. She hosts many county-wide events and provides food with a smile. In the middle of the pandemic, Barbara has gone above and beyond to make sure meals were ready to go out and that all children get what they need. Barbara has been an excellent leader and has put in timeless hours. Congratulations, Barbara. We appreciate your flexibility and willingness to work so hard this year. And then our Transportation Employee of the Year, Dustin Sellers. Dustin, who has only been with Transportation for a year and a half, has excelled and become an invaluable member of the department. He is knowledgeable and kind, easy to work with, and effectively communicates the needed repairs to our vehicles. A coworker said, "Dustin is a pleasure to be around, and we are glad he is a part of our department." Congratulations to Dustin. Thank you, and congratulations to all of our Employees of the Year. We really appreciate everything that you do.
Let me borrow some money. Let me borrow some money. Smack you, smack you, smack you.
She won't come.
Kim, give me that phone and get up there. Been working.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bob. See you, man.
Got clown collar.
Did you ever watch Benny Hill show?
Yeah.
He used to all hit a man on the head all the time. Like that's what needs to happen.
Huh?
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, like it'd be a Benny Hill slap. Yeah.
We never hit him hard. We just hit him on the head.
It's a good idea.
Next, we're going to congratulate a special group of retirees. We appreciate their dedication to our students, school, and to our system. We wish each of them a very happy retirement. You have made a lasting impact, and it will not be forgotten. So I'm going to call our retirees out in no particular order. Some of them are here, and some of them retired way early in the. Early in the year, and some just recently retired. Renee Wyatt, Michael Vigliano, Jane Lee Shewitt, Deborah Howell, Jeff Haney, Roberta D'Alessandro, Marcia Turner, Kathy Chambers, Elaine Kleinard, Kathy Dedeker, Virginia Hawken, Sharon Rathbone, Lynn Ray, Cynthia Jackson, Ron Rogers, Ricky Caldwell, Sandy Myers, Mark Shepard, Deborah Klinghagen, Anita Carino, Allison Hutchby, Ron Singleton, Kathy Swanger, Jill Chambers, Janetta Spratt, Janita Spratt, Karen Keeling, Deb Laporte, Deb Brown, Pam Valentine, Lori Wright, Kim Stiles, and Catherine Robertson. Again, we just want to say thank you for your years and years of service to Haywood County Schools, and we wish you a very, very happy retirement. And we would like to get your picture over here.
Hey, Kat, how are you?
What are you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, Rick. Oh, that's all right. How are you?
Good to see you.
How are you? Thank you. Allison. What have I got in my pocket? Ooh, damn. Baseball. Is that one empty? Excuse me?
We keep going back and getting more drinks. Never gets and gets the drinks.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I think we're getting older.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Congratulations to all of our retirees, and we appreciate the many, many years of experience that are represented here tonight, and we're going to miss you all. It's okay. We're going to take about a 3 to 5 minute recess. We'll be back in session now after we had a short break. We are, has anyone signed up to address the board this evening? Not that we're aware of? Okay. I know there was a couple of sheets that's gone, but just wanted to make sure if you had an opportunity that, or asked for an opportunity, that we gave you that opportunity. Board members, you've had an opportunity to look at the May 6th closed session, May 10th closed and regular session, and May 24th closed and special call session minutes. I'm looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion from Dr. Rogers, second by Mr. Nesbitt. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We had an addition after the minutes, and it was Trevor's request for a mental health training program that needed the board to approve.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before being placed before you for first read will be Policy 6120. This is a school-based mental health plan. It comes following state law requirements. In the state mental health plan, there are basically three things that you must complete. The first is a mental health training program. This policy requires each school system to provide a mental health training program at no cost to employees. Employees must receive an initial mental health training of at least 6 hours within the first 6 months of employment, and subsequent mental health trainings of at least 2 hours annually. Existing employees must complete their training by the end of the 21-22 school year. The team is currently researching and previewing the model mental health training programs. One will be selected, and all staff will complete during the 21-22 school year. Requirement 2, child sexual abuse and sex trafficking training program. As the board is already aware, all of our employees completed this 2-hour training this school year. Requirement 3, suicide risk referral protocol. Over the past 2 years, we have worked to improve our district's current risk referral protocol. The mental health team is working to improve this protocol and include our new mental health structure in the plan. By September 15, 2021, we will present Haywood County's mental health plan, including the mental health training program selected for all school staff and our updated suicide risk protocol. So I'm sharing our movement and our progression toward constructing a school-based mental health plan as is required in Policy 6120, revision to Policy 6120, which will be up for first read later this evening.
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Putnam? We need a motion to approve, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is this a motion to go ahead and let you find a plan, and then you'll bring the actual plan back to us for final approval? Or is this approving a plan that you will actually get later on?
This is the structure that we will follow.
Okay.
Obviously,
This
the
is the
details
structure.
of which
It's
will
not
be
the-
fleshed out over time.
Okay.
If that plan or this structure suffices the board and falls in line with Policy 6120, which it does, these are the requirements that come with the policy, then what you're actually approving is the structure for the plan.
Okay.
Motion.
We have a motion from Mr. Nesbitt, seconded by Dr. Rogers. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. Excuse me, I have my mic off. We have a motion from Mr. Nesbitt, seconded by Dr. Rogers, to approve the plan as presented by Dr. Putnam. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Putnam. Next, we have Ms. Cook.
Chairman Francis, members of the board, it is that time again to submit to DPI the alternative accountability model for Central Haywood High School. So we are proposing for board approval, option B. Components in the model include student persistence weighted at 20%, school achievement also weighted at 20%. The calculation for school achievement will include 3 years of data. Growth as measured through EVOS weighted at 60%, and a change rating of progressing, maintaining, or declining rather than the school performance grade will be assigned comparing the previous to the current year. Are there any questions about option B?
Any questions? If not, anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Dr. Rogers made a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Henson. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. Next, we have Ms. Francis for bid approvals. And we had some good news about the bid this year, correct?
Did.
Yes.
Chairman Francis, members of the board, I bring to you tonight for your approval a milk bid and four bid extensions. Our milk bid, we had potential bidders this year. It's been probably 5 or 6 years since we've had more than one person bid on us, and it absolutely worked in our favor. It dropped our milk per carton from about 28 cents to 24 cents, so that when you think about the number of milk that we actually serve, that's a lot of money. Those pennies add up quick. So Dean Foods bid was $272,597.50, and Pinecrest Foods came in at $306,725, and we'd like to award the bid to Dean Foods.
Okay.
And then for bid extensions, U.S. Food Service, year 5 of a possible 5-year term. Marvin's Produce, year 5 of a possible 5-year term. Hershey's Ice Cream, year 5 of a possible 5-year term. Miscellaneous Beverages with Pepsi, U.S. Food Service, and Trident Beverage, year 2 of a possible 5-year term. And Alco Chemical, year 3 of a possible 5-year term.
Okay. We need a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Rogers has made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Francis. Ms. Wood is going to do the CTE local plan.
Ms. Glantz couldn't be here tonight, so for your approval, you have the 2021-2022 local CTE plan.
Okay. Any questions?
I make a motion we approve the CTE local plan for 2021, did you say?
2021-2022.
2020, yeah.
All right, so we have a motion from Mr. Kirkpatrick. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Clark. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Next, board members, we had, originally had 2 applications for Haywood Community College Board of Trustees. As you know, we get to appoint these members to the Board of Trustees at Haywood Community College. And we, one of the applicants was actually appointed by the county commissioner, so we have one left, and it's one that we've already appointed in the past. She's eligible for another 4-year term, and so we have one applicant, and that's Lynn Milner, Miss Lynn Milner, for a second 4-year term on the Haywood Community College Board of Trustees.
I make a motion we approve Lynn Milner for the next 4 years.
That's correct.
All right.
I'll
Second.
Seconded by, I believe Mr. Rogers beat you by a millisecond, so it'll be Motion by Mr. Kirkpatrick, second by Mr. Rogers. Any question or discussion on the motion? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Putnam with our policies. First time reads and some second readings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have several policies for first read. I'll give you the highlights of those changes. Policy 1310-4002, parental involvement. It updates legal references only. 3102, changes guidance counselor to school counselor. 3230 and 7330, updates legal references. 3470/4305, updates legal references. 3640/5130, updates references to statutes that have been recodified. Adds a case citation in the legal reference and updates a footnote. Policy 4050 corrects a typo in section B1C. 4270/6145, concussion and head injury, updates legal references and updates a footnote. 4700, updates hyperlinks and legal references. 5020, changes guidance counselor to school counselor and updates the footnote. Policy 5030, community use of facilities, update references to a statute that has been recodified, updates the footnote. Policy 5070/7350, updates hyperlinks and legal references, and policy 5071/7351, updates a hyperlink and legal references.
Okay. These will be tabled to our next regular board meeting for public comment.
And one more, I'm sorry, I hadn't flipped the
Was
page
it
yet.
6120, is that correct?
And policy 6120.
Okay.
What about 1610-7800? Do that one?
The second one, yeah, you missed it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
The 1610.
Everything it's on for first reading.
Will be
That's on the piece of paper.
Will be tabled for public comment to the next regular board meeting.
Very good. Thank you. For second read and for approval, policy 4600, student fees. And basically that revises second and third paragraphs and requires publication of student fees. Policy 5070 and 7350 adds a sentence to section A to reflect change in law requiring reports received pursuant to General Statute 135. 7232, discrimination and harassment in the workplace, removes section E to remove implication that discipline of person who makes a false statement would constitute retaliation. And policy 7335 modifies the policy to be consistent with policy 4040 and 7310 with regard to the use of video conferencing platforms to communicate with students.
Okay. Need a motion for approval on these.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Henson. Do you want to second it, Mr. Rogers?
Yes, sir, that'd be fine.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Henson, second by Mr. Rogers. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Putnam.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, during this time when we're talking about policies, there's been a lot of public input and communications around the education system and a lot of socially divisive movements that are going on in our society. I would hope that this board tonight would help me in issuing a directive, maybe that's the right word, to our policy committee and administration to develop a policy that ensures that Haywood County Schools' focus is upon education and is never a platform for social activity.
Is there any objection to what Dr. Rogers has asked the policy committee to look into? Then we can come back if there's a formal policy, we could come back and as a board, we could actually take formal action. Is that agreeable? Any objections? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. And by the way, you're up next on the building and grounds.
Okay. Bear with me just a second.
That's fine.
Building and Grounds has four motions to bring before the board tonight. The first motion is a motion to approve the addition of an outdoor classroom / agricultural fruit garden at Bethel Middle School. This would be at the expense of the school, which has the funds through donations.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Dr. Rogers in the Building and Grounds and seconded by Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, the second motion that we'd like to bring before the committee is a motion to approve the installation of turf on the cheer platform at CU Westby Stadium.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion from Dr. Rogers, seconded by Mr. Francis. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor?
Is there any?
Red.
It's black.
It's green.
It's green, it's neutral.
Maybe we need to limit.
Do you have an idea of the cost yet, or?
Yeah, its approximate cost is $11,000. That is an option that Tuscola chose to exercise by coming to the board. Pisgah decided to leave theirs as is.
Any other questions or comments? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The third motion is a motion concerning the central office renovation project. You each should have received a copy of some change orders that we're going to present to the board tonight to be approved as part of this renovation plan.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Dr. Rogers and a second by Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor?
Is there an amount on the change orders?
It will be within the contingency. We won't be expanding the budget, so it'll be within the contingency. I think if you, where is Dr. Putnam? It's somewhere around $38,000 of changes, less savings that we found as we've went along with Josh and Dr. Putnam's leadership. And then there's also $65,000 budgeted dollars, not necessarily accurate dollars, for paving and striping.
Does it keep us on time?
Yeah, that's the main reason we want to go ahead tonight is we want to keep this thing moving along.
Okay. We do have a motion on the floor. Any other? We did have a motion.
Motion and a second.
Okay. It's been a long day. All right, any other questions or comments before we vote? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And finally, Mr. Chairman, we have a motion to approve contracting with PFA Architects to design plans for the physical education expansions at both Pisgah and Tuscola.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Dr. Rogers, seconded by Mr. Rogers. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the hard work of the Building and Grounds Committee and all the things that are going on now for our facilities. Thank you guys very much. Next, we have our Finance Committee Chair, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, we got line number 18, interim budget resolution, which this is basically what notification of what funds we're going to receive. So we basically have to vote that we're going to take advantage of these if you guys want to see it. Need a motion to approve this.
I second.
Mr. Clark's made the motion, second by Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is June budget amendment and revision. This is for giving, the Haywood County School Board of Education declares that the superintendent is allowed to approve all June 30th, 2021 fiscal year budget amendments and revisions with reporting of those budget amendments and revisions to the BOE at the July 2021 Board of Education meeting. Basically give them permission to do this.
We have a motion from Mr. Clark, second from Mr. Nesbitt. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Next item is if I say that, Ceranic, is that correct? Contract, it's our finance software. Currently in third year of a 3-year agreement. If we sign the new 3-year agreement now, we can save $60,000. We're paying $60,000 a year. They will give it to us for 3 years for $40,000 a year if we do it now. So we'd like to go ahead and do that.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Clark. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Next item is our workman's compensation insurance. It's the same company we've had for several years. The budget is $153,348. This is for the local employees only. All the state employees are under a different contract. This is for all our local employees. And this is actually, they said they had really good service with this company, and the bid is actually went down over $50,000 since we started. So we're actually really happy. We'd like to continue this.
It's in the form of a motion. Okay, you have a motion?
Yes, sir.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I'm gonna read this one. It's about expanding the bonus. Dr. Nolte may have to explain it further if you need him to. Expand bonus pay to now include 12-month hourly pay employees, including HR, finance, ITC, etc., $800 total. Same as already approved for transportation, maintenance, school clerical, and summer school, while summer school is happening.
This is out of those funds that
This
we're
is out of the
getting.
ESSEC funds, and it's basically we're expanding so everybody will get a bonus. All the 12-month employees will get a bonus. $400 a month, correct?
Doing extra duties for COVID.
Yes.
It expands the clerical and school sites for summer school to ITC, finance, and central office hourly employees. It's a bonus. Yeah, maintenance and transportation were already approved by the board.
I second that motion.
We have a motion from Mr. Clark, second from Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, hopefully, I think this last one, we have a Digitizing Documents. We'd like to contract with the company to digitize documents at central office to include EC records, finance records, personal records, allow more room at the new office, no more than $90,000. Basically, the archived records, we've already got everything else done. This is just the last of it. And then we'll be caught up, and then just yearly we'll have to do the records for the students. So we'd like to get that done and have everything. So I'm bringing it as a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nesbitt. Motion made by Mr. Clark. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Is that,
Regular reports.
oh yeah,
In the regular.
regular reports, one more thing.
This is a record for the finance committee.
Yeah, that's the
Board of
most
Audits.
ever, so. Okay, now I need to bring the regular monthly reports, and they all look good. We went over them earlier in the finance committee, and I'd like to bring them for approval.
Okay. We have a motion from Mr. Clark. Is there a second?
Second.
Second with Mr. Francis. That's quick. Mm-hmm. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for the hard work of the finance committee, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Lot going on. Next, we have Dr. Nolte with our personnel.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, at this time I bring to you the personnel that we discussed previously in closed session. For your information, we have 20 separation from employment, 19 employee status changes, and 1 leave of absence. For your approval, we have 20 employments, 211 employee status changes, many of those related to summer school, summer work. Those are not related to it. Employee status changes for the summer, we did most of those at the special called meeting, 18. 1 leave of absence for your approval. Employee coaches, mainly for the fall, 57. We did make an adjustment there. Non-employee coaches, 11. That one was also adjusted. Volunteer coaches, 2. And teacher contracts, these are the annual teacher contracts that we have to renew at the end of each year. Contracts for 21-22, 151 contracts.
I make a motion we approve the personnel as presented. Was that everything?
Second.
All right, second by Mr. Rogers. Motion made by Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Bill, and I think you had something you wanted to do.
I did. Thank you, Board, for approving those. I just wanted to say before we introduce some new administrators that we appreciate your continued heavy lifting as a board. You have met a record number of times throughout the pandemic to do real work, whether it was facilities or academic or related to finance or HR, and we appreciate that. You've been very forward-thinking, very positive, and we appreciate that. At this time, I would like to call on some people to recognize some new administrators. I think one administrator is going to call in, but I'll start at this time with Graham Haynes and let Mr. Haynes introduce a new assistant principal.
Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, Ms. Barker, thank you for having us tonight. I'm really excited to introduce my new assistant principal. His career at Haywood County Schools has been an amazing one. He's been an amazing teacher, an amazing coach, and now he gets to be an amazing administrator. And thanks to you all letting him start a little early for the board meeting, and thank you. I've got to see that firsthand already, and he's only been with us for about a week and a half. Day one, he was going up and down the hallways, introducing himself to the teachers, the kids, the parents that came in, building those relationships, familiarizing himself with everything. On Friday, this past Friday, last day, and everybody, I mean, in a normal school year, we all know you're ready to leave, last day of school, kids, teachers, everybody. But in COVID year, they were tearing the doors down. Everybody's ready to go. And he jumps on a bus on Friday, rides bus 4 around, and just because he's going to have buses next year, and he wants to familiarize himself with it and get used to, the bus route and where all the kids get dropped off and stuff. Yesterday, he was helping the custodian scrape up the little 6 feet, stay 6 feet apart signs on the floor just so they could, get to the next stage of waxing and doing all the stuff they need. So I've seen it already. He's going to be a great administrator. I'm really excited to have him at Waynesville Middle School. And so I'd like to introduce the new Waynesville Middle School Assistant Principal, Travis Green.
Thank
Thank you. I'll try to keep this short because I know it's been a long day for everybody. But Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, Ms. Barker, thank you for the opportunity to serve as the assistant principal at Waynesville Middle School. All of you have certainly invested in me over the last few years, allowing me to participate in the Aspiring Administrators Academy in the first cohort, and then obviously my principal internship. And I promise to show up every day, work hard for my school community and this county. I love this county. I'm a kid from Bethel, been here my whole life, so sorry, as you can tell. I also want to thank some other individuals and organizations who supported me in making this move to administration. I want to thank now my former principal, Miss Mancini at Meadowbrook, who I used to work for, Miss Hansworth and her team at Bethel, and Mr. Connor and his team over here from Pisgah. All of these have mentored me up until now in administration. I want to thank Mr. Haynes as well. Thank you for believing in me and trusting me to do this job. And I promise to give you my best to help you make Waynesville Middle the best place that it can be. And then last, I want to thank God, because without him, none of this would even be possible. And I'm going to thank my wife, my daughter who's at home with Nana and Papa right now. I cannot do it without them. And
Mr. Francis and board, we're going to try another remote introduction. I think Mr. Connard has done this before, but at this time, we're going to see if Ms. Blackman was able to remote in and introduce her new assistant principal. And if she's,
I'm with you guys.
all right, come on up, Ms. Heatherly. And Dr. Putnam, her principal before Ms. Blackman, is going to be with her. Actually, we all got to work with her as principals.
I corrupted her, but she overcome it. I'm just going to stand with you.
Oh, okay. Well, as they mentioned, I have two of my former principals here tonight, Dr. Nolte and Dr. Putnam. I wanted to thank you, Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, and Ms. Barker. I have been an educator in Haywood County for 24 years, and during that time, I have served in a number of different roles. In these 24 years, I have also worked for a number of different principals. First, I appreciate Lynn Milner for bringing me to Haywood County. Thank you to Dr. Nolte, who saw my first potential in perhaps being an administrator, and to Dr. Putnam, who brought me back to Waynesville Middle School as a math coach 6 years ago. To Todd Trantham, who hired me to work at the amazing Tuscola High School, and now Ms. Blackman for giving me the opportunity to help lead this amazing school. I am so excited to learn from her for the next few years, as I have from these previous principals. And just so you know, my family could not be here tonight because my youngest son just won his final baseball game as a Mountaineer, 10-0, run-ruled West Henderson. Go Mounties. But without their love and support, I wouldn't be here right now. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Ms. Blackman.
Congratulations, Ms. Heatherly. We're really, really happy to have you. I could tell that she was a fantastic leader from the first time I walked in the building, and we're thrilled. We grow great leaders at Tuscola, and Ms. Heatherly is just another example of that. Thank you again to all of you for allowing me to bring her on board.
Thank you, Ms. Blackman. And then last but certainly not least, I'd like to introduce Clint Connard to introduce a new assistant principal.
Members of the board, Mr. Francis, Dr. Bill, Dr. Putnam, Ms. Barker. Ms. Francis, it's great to see milk prices going down. I wanted to throw that in there. No, I'm honored and privileged tonight to introduce a new assistant principal to the Pisgah Bears. We lose a Carly to Riverbend, but gain Elena. And everything that I've looked at Elena just shows great potential. All her references spoke very highly of her, and we are super excited to have her on board. I want to say a couple things that stand out is her peers, Miss Baldwin and kids, Abby and Cole, and Mr. Connor, Coach Chappell, her family, Miss Cope, and Mrs. Riddle, for being here tonight. It shows a lot of support. I promise to take care of her and guide her in the best possible way I can. What this means is we sat around the table a lot at Pisgah High School, and Casey, I think, mentioned this. He goes, well, it's kind of like getting married. You spend 60 hours with this person every single week. This is a big decision, and I think we've made the right decision in this. We look forward to having Miss Cope in the interview process. She came in a face-to-face interview. Then we actually went out and had ice cream down at the Black Bear just to kind of get a feel for each other. And she said something that really stuck out to me. She goes, I've had to earn everything I've gotten as a teacher. She's been a Haywood County employee for 8 years. She was a Haywood County student at Tuscola High School, and we look forward to having her. She said, I'm very blue collar, and she'll fit right in with us. So, Lena, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Good evening, Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, and Ms. Barker. I want you to know how thankful I am for this opportunity, and thank you for the support over the last 8 years and my education in Haywood County schools. I appreciate the AAA Academy because I've learned so much with my graduate school. I got to go out in Haywood County schools and witness some of the best schools. I got to hear Mr. Connor speak in this very room about how great Pisgah High School is, and from that day I was just moved to join his team. So I was very thankful for when he called me for the interview, and I felt right at home when I stood in Pisgah's door and walked to his table. Ms. Blackman, I want to thank you. I want to thank the staff and the students at Tuscola because you have had an important role in my life for the past 8 years. I want to thank my past administrators, Mr. Collins, Mr. McDonald, and Mr. Trantham for believing in me through this process. I want to thank my family and my support over the last 30 years. But I'm so excited to join Mr. Connor and the team at Pisgah High School. I can't wait to be a part of the Pisgah family. Go Bears.
Congratulations to each and every one of you, and we look forward to hearing great things from all of our newly hired assistant principals. So thank you all very much. Appreciate you and your kind words. Thank you very much. There's nothing else to come before the board. Meeting adjourned.